and Pickle. This is the UTSA Basketball Coaches Show. The UTSA Basketball Coaches Show, brought to you by UT Health San Antonio, the official healthcare partner of UTSA Athletics. By HEB, here, everything's better. By Chicken and Pickle, home of the UTSA Coaches Shows. By Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Enjoy responsibly. By Credit Human, become a member today. Visit credithuman.com. By North Park Subaru, proud member of the Kalig Auto Group. By Cowboys Air Conditioning, the official HVAC partner of UTSA Athletics. And
all right, bud, stand by.
We're from here. Now, live from Chicken and Pickle, here's the voice of the Roadrunners, Andy Everett.
And welcome to Chicken and Pickle and the UTSA Basketball Radio Show. Thank you for spending your Thursday night with us. We had to move this show this week from Monday to Thursday because of me. And I'm sorry that I was sick, but I couldn't make it on Monday, so we're out here on Thursday, and we'll get a chance to visit with Austin Claunch and with Karen Aston and others. And thanks to Chicken and Pickle for accommodating us as well on this evening. Austin Claunch starts off the show with us this evening. I know last night had to be one of the worst nights for a while for you, but there was some positive things that happened in the game last night despite the loss. How do you look back and reflect on the game after 24 hours or so?
Yeah, you know, Andy, we've watched it a couple of times, and, you know, unfortunately, you know, you hate to kind of sound like a broken record. This sort of been a, you know, we've had a couple of games like this now at home and on the road, and certainly you feel positive about, you know, how we're playing a lot of the time, you know, and part of building something is figuring out how to finish those games, right? And doesn't make you feel any better. You know, our players are disappointed. Obviously, as a staff, we're disappointed. But that's also a good thing, too. You want people in your program that care about winning. And so, yeah, you know, you get up and you find a way, you know, to keep going, and eventually you break through that wall.
I think last week when we were in Wichita, you said all these games are going to be close, so we need to quit talking about them because they're all going to come down to the wire. But I think we've had our fair share of close games. I think there's like 25 games by two possessions or less, and we played about 10 of them or so. Yeah,
you know, and quite frankly, a couple of these at home, you know, they shouldn't have come down to the wire. We played well enough the first 30 minutes of the game, you know, a couple of these times where we you know, developed a lead to, you know, hopefully kind of salt it away with, you know, a couple of minutes left. And then, you know, I think that 8 to 4 minute mark in all of those games have sort of tightened and then given the other team, you know, opportunity to win the game, which they have. And so, you know, as a staff, we got to figure out how to put our team, you know, in the right opportunities to, you know, salt these things away. And then our guys, you know, just, I think part of it is just, you know, relaxing and going and playing and executing like they have for the first 80% of the game.
I thought one of the big positives was the fact that Ray Horton was not available last night, and you played so well offensively, defensively. They're a huge team, South Florida is, and until the last maybe, you know, 8 minutes of the game or 7 minutes of the game, you were pretty even with him on the boards, despite not having his presence in there.
Yeah, I mean, we really guarded Andy. I mean, they had 45 points, I think, with 9 minutes left in the game. And then some transition, I thought, kind of got them going. They go on a quick 9-0 run where they get 3 straight threes to cut it to whatever it would have been, I think 11.
Yes.
And then they're right back in it. But, I mean, I think that's been a tale of our team throughout the course of the year, regardless of who's out. You know, we show up and we fight. You know, you could go back to the Primo game where I think he didn't play against Tulane, and that's another game where we had a double-digit lead. You know, last night's another example. You know, we have one of our leaders out, maybe our most physical and physically tough player, you know, who doesn't play. And, you know, the guys show up and are resilient. And, yeah, you know, you're disappointed that they don't get rewarded with that win. But, again, that's part of what makes it special in the end when you do find a way to get it done.
How's Ray doing? Are we keeping his status a secret from East Carolina?
I'd be surprised if he didn't play.
Yeah.
You know, it's a shoulder injury. That sort of just has been flaring up on him a little bit the last couple of days, but I would be surprised if he didn't play.
The other thing, too, is no matter – this is now 5 games, but no matter what, each of the next game, the team has been ready to play. You're getting off to good starts. The resiliency of this team is amazing, and I know that they feel the same way going into East Carolina on Sunday.
Yeah, you know, I mean, I've been part of a 5-game losing streak before, you know, as a head coach. And so it's not the first time I've been through something like this. It's not fun, you know, and certainly I'm proud of our guys, you know, of just like you just mentioned, every day, you know, besides that first half against Tulsa, we have been we've been playing really good basketball. And even that Tulsa game, we get it back to a 2-possession game, I think, with 6 minutes left. So, I expect us to come out and have a couple of great practices and travel to East Carolina and win the game.
I think when you have players that really like the game, and we got a bunch of guys that are basketball guys, they like the game. They're eager to get back to work. They're eager to get back to practice, and obviously the game on Sunday.
Yeah, no, we had a bunch of guys in there today, sort of just on their own. Obviously, today is an off day, so it's good to have guys that you sort of have to remind them that you're not doing anything with us today,
right,
and it's a good problem to have, when you're trying to, ultimately, like you mentioned, to build a program and get sustainable success. You need people that want to be around the gym and want to be around the game.
I've seen a lot of players, and this team and the past teams, the game's over, and they go get a basketball and they go shoot some more. They get home from a road trip and it's a Sunday and it's an off day. They're still going to go shoot. They're going to go get their treatment. They're going to lift, whatever they got to do. And that's what you want to see from players who are in the gym and working on their game when they don't have to be.
Yeah, I think it must have been I think it was the Tulsa game where we got back and I had to get something out of my office. And then as I was walking back to my car, because we got back late that night around midnight, and Smurf and Nas and Bob were all in there, about to get a workout in. So it's, that's certainly something that's encouraging to see. And I think that's, as a coach, as well, it encourages you and pushes our staff to, continue to push the way that we do, and then our players do the same thing.
All right, it's an off day for the players today, so in the next segment, we're going to introduce you to Trevor DeLoach, one of UTSA's assistants. He's got a unique role, I think, on this team as he directs a lot of the offensive plays for the Roadrunners, and we'll talk about his role on the UTSA bench. If you're looking for a new or pre-owned car, look no further than Ensira.com. Shop every make and model in one location and get a great low Ensira price only at Ensira.com. USAA. We have 2 stars at the hardwood, usually each week, but one of those tonight is going to be Trevor DeLoach, who is UTSA's assistant coach. Welcome to the show. How are you tonight?
I'm doing well. How you doing?
Very good. Well, first of all, you were Austin's first hire back at Nichols, right?
Yes, sir.
Take us through that. Tell us what that interview was like, and did you know him before that? How'd all that come out and work out?
Man, I heard about him through Richie, and Richie put me in contact with Austin Claunch, and I just want to be with him so bad. I knew he was going to be energetic, he's going to win, and Richie talked highly of him, and I was like, man, I got to be on his staff. And first time I talked to him, he always said, like, I could have signed Devin Booker. So, like, I'm like, any player in the country, we can go figure out how to get him. So that was my way in with him.
All right, Austin, tell us about hiring Trevor when you were at Nichols a few years ago.
Yeah, well, obviously, you can talk to him for 30 seconds, and he can sell water to a well and all that good stuff. But no, the best thing about Trev, I think, a lot of people like to tag. When you talk about assistant coaches and recruiting, you hear the word recruiting. To me, it's relationships. Trev is the elite at building relationships, and that's not just getting a guy to come to your school. That's once a guy is part of your family, building that trust, and really caring about these guys on and off the court, and helping them build something special. And that's how you build special programs with special people.
You run the offense for UTSA, kind of like an offensive coordinator, I would think, for football. Take us through that role, and that to me it's unique. Is it something that is unique to you?
Yes, I mean, I scored a lot of points in high school, so offense has always been my second nature. And me, Clarence, Bowman, we like to watch a lot of film, and I just try to be his blind spot. He very good offensively. I may see something or tweak something differently that he don't see, and then when I bring it to him, he's like, oh, yeah, that's right. So I just try to be his blind spot with it when it comes to offense.
Austin, how often do you look for Trevor for the right play call and what you're going to go against a certain defense?
Yeah, when we were at Nichols, we didn't necessarily spread around responsibility like that. That's something actually I picked up from Coach Oates, where you sort of have someone helping you more so with offense and defense, personnel, and different things like that. And then Trev is somebody that sees the game similar to me on that side of the ball, and we play a style that we played at Nichols. We'll continue to tweak here that fits more for how we want to play at UTSA. But again, I trust him. He's in the gym with these guys all the time, and a lot of the times we'll be in a huddle, and I'll give him the clipboard and ask him what he wants to do, and again, I think it's the offense, it's the baseline out of bounds where we've been successful in that regard, and this is a guy I'm very close with, so I have no issue turning around and telling him I didn't like that play call either. So
yeah.
But I think that's what makes him really good, is he's confident and belief in what he does.
Trevor, take us through your playing career. What you do in high school and college, and after that, and then make the transition to coaching.
I went to South Carolina out of high school. I was a really good high school basketball player. Ended up going to USC out of high school. Transferred to Chipola in Florida. Went to UNC Wilmington for 3 years. Played for Buzz Peterson, who best friends with Michael Jordan. And then reason I coach is because of Buzz Peterson. He basically said in a huddle, like a press conference, he was like, DeLoach will coach on the floor. And then that's my mind started transitioning to coaching. And coaching the next best thing, I've been recruited by a lot of guys and just want to help guys throughout the process to make them be better. When the ball stops bouncing, make their mind transition to that.
Do you see a lot of guys on this team that are that coach on the floor as well?
Oh, we got a couple of them that are, but a couple of them need some toning up. When it comes to coaching part of the basketball part, is it? But coaching is a whole different world. It's a day-to-day grind, from 8 a.m. to 1 a.m. in the morning. So you on the phones working it, watching a lot of film. So a couple of them can do it, but Primo will probably be one of them. Damari's smart enough. Mo probably be a good coach as well.
Yeah.
Those three.
All right, you drawing up plays, designing plays. Where do they come from? I know that like motion and horns up and horns down, those are plays everybody runs. Yeah. But when you're designing a play, Andy Reid, the football coach, is probably already drawing up plays for next year right now, and we don't even know what they're going to be. How do you draw up plays? How do you design offense?
Man, it comes from Claunch. Basically got the basic of it. I played for probably the most coaches in the country. Like I had probably 2 at South Carolina, 2 at Chipola, 3 at UNC Wilmington. So I played for a lot of different guys and been around and coached with a lot of different guys. So picking up a little things that I like, I don't like, want to tweak with that. But most of it come from like me and him will talk about it, and me and Claunch will talk about it, and we like a few things that we want to run that game, and then I would just remind him when he his mind running 1,000 miles per hour during the game, offense and defense, baseline offense. So I just remind him really of what's going on.
Austin, how much do you guys run plays, and then at some point the guys just have to go make basketball plays?
Yeah, well, I think great offensive teams really have a flow that they play with, 80 to 85% of the time, and then I think, out of dead balls or baseline out of bounds, timeouts, things like that, you got to be able to execute, and whether that's a specific set where you're looking for a specific shot. But I think most importantly, our philosophy since we've been together and since I've been coaching is, I'm more concerned with teaching these guys how to play and teaching them plays, and giving them, I wouldn't say the freedom, but just certainly there's freedom, but it's freedom within the structure that we play with. And I think at times that can lead to some mistakes early on in the season, and hopefully as you go and you get into conference play, your guys are more comfortable understanding how they score and how they play.
I'll ask both of you this to kind of finish things up. How do you guys do analytics? Well, what do you look for analytics? Threes better than twos? We see a lot of transition threes in all form of basketball. Where's the fine line between we're going to be analytical and we're not going to be?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's certainly a place for it. And, at the end of the day, if you're better at shooting twos, you should probably shoot twos. And if you're better at shooting threes, you should probably – I think that's one thing that we have to, as we continue to move forward as a program. It's great that we're a good three-point shooting team, but we need to become a team that can manufacture more two-point field goals. Right now with our particular team, last night we shoot it really great from three, but our two-point percentage was terrible. And that's on us as coaches to figure out how to put our guys in better spots to be successful.
How much do you like analytics, Trevor?
I'm growing with it now. Being around Claunch and Bowman as analysts as well, but like you say, if you shoot better 40% from three, we want you to shoot a three. If you shoot 35 from two, so we do look at those as well on a day-to-day basis and make sure we put them in the best position.
What about plus-minus numbers? How important is that?
Oh, I'm huge on that. Claunch is as well. He'll see it in the media like we gotta get him out. He's minus 10, so we very big on plus-minus.
It's still weird. I talk to Coach Carter all the time, who does the games with me and at home, and he says it's still weird for him to watch a 3-on-1 break and somebody pull up for a three.
Oh yeah, the game has transitioned to that. It's not like Smurf. We want him to shoot a three in transition because he's shooting 50% in conference. So
some of the other ones should go get
Legos. Yeah, some of us should go get Legos.
All right, thanks, Trevor. Good luck the rest of the way, and great having a conversation with you.
Thank you.
All right, that's Trevor DeLoach with us out here at Chicken and Pickle. This season, when the men's and women's basketball teams score 88 points or more, Roadrunner fans can score $888. It's the $888 giveaway from Wayne Wright, the official injury attorney of UTSA Athletics. Register to win your $888 at goutsa.com/promotions. One more segment with Austin next. It's the UTSA basketball radio show on the UTSA Sports Network. America's Diamond was able to give away the Love Your Roadrunner promotion diamond, a diamond worth $5,000. And it was John Hernandez and Sarah Ayala that popped the question, and she said yes. So if you want to register next year, you can get online and start doing that soon, I'm sure. America's Diamond's the official jeweler of UTSA Athletics. Roadrunners are at East Carolina on Saturday, and they're a really good team with C.J. Walker, a handful down there in the post.
Yeah, obviously played a really good game with them here a couple weeks ago. They really, Coach has done a really good job there. Third year there, I believe, and what they've built, a clear identity with their length and their athleticism. They really mix up defenses. They'll play some switching man-to-man. They'll go to the zone. They'll pick you up full a little bit, and then they're a handful on the glass. And so again, every road game is tough, and everything presents different challenges. And they're playing well, like you mentioned. They've got a lot of confidence right now. I'm not exactly sure what their record is, but I would imagine they're closing in on a top 4 spot, or trying to get
they're
there.
close.
So they're going to play desperate, and we got to match that and be ready to go.
Ever been there? Ever played there?
No, never been there.
Yeah, we were there 10 years ago, and their student section is right behind the bench, and they're relentless.
Yeah.
They're going to be on you the whole game.
Well, we've had a couple of those. We have had a couple of big student sections, actually.
Unless they've changed it in 10 years, but that was the worst. Well, it was done in a good way, but it was the most difficult crowd to deal with all the things they were saying.
Well, it's funny. Rice, I think Rice had like their season high right when we were there in attendance of that student section, and then North Texas was right on us, and we found a way to win those two. So let's see if we can do it again.
When you get leads, is the mentality to keep pouring it on? I know you mentioned to me a couple weeks ago, when we get a lead, we got to start matching offense. We need to get stops, but if we don't, we got to go back and score. How much do you stress that going down the stretch in these last few games?
Yeah, it's hard. I do think it's a mix. You don't want your guys just thinking, hey, let's put the brakes on now because we have a lead. I think last night, you go and look, and there's some really good shots that we got early, like a transition 3 from Smurf that we want him to take that and just didn't go in. And then there were some other ones that were probably a little quick. And I think we have to continue to, coach and educate our guys on, hey, this is probably, one that, understanding time and score and flow of the game, right? We've had a lead. They're on a little 4-0 run. Let's maybe work this clock a little bit more. And so, again, I do think it's a balance, but, most importantly, I want our guys to be confident. Whether we're milking the clock or we're playing fast, they should be confident, regardless because of their preparation.
As you finish up these last 4 games, and I know your focus is on East Carolina, is there a new message, or is it the same message from the beginning of the season? Keep playing better, get better, finish games. Is there anything different that you say?
No, I mean, listen, I think it's important, that as coaches, it's easy to get frustrated. It's easy to, when you lose, it's everyone's frustrated. These guys have worked really, really hard. So the last thing, that we're going to do now, I said it before the North Texas game. I've said it dang near after every game, and I'll say it now. We're still playing for a lot, and we're going to give these guys, regardless if we were 10-4 or 4-10 or 14-0 or 0-14, we have to continue to pour into what we've committed to, and that's something that's bigger than everyone in that locker room, including myself. And what we're trying to build at UTSA is not, it's not a win a couple of games and feel great and lose one and feel bad. It's something that we're going to have that's sustainable, over the next, however long. And so that takes constant work and constant just integrity to our craft. And that's what we plan on doing to finish this thing out.
I was over at the race facility today for a little bit, and the area where the practice facility is going to be is cleared now, so it looks like you can see progress.
As I'm walking by it every day. It's exciting to see. It sounds like they're ahead of schedule, and the future is bright. It's awesome to have an office 10 feet from Coach Aston and what they've done. Again, I'll beat the horn on that, man. If you have not been to a women's basketball game this year, you are really missing out. It is so fun to watch just because of how they do it and the joy and the passion that they play with for each other is fun to see. And it's easy to get inspired and try to build toward that.
All right, let's get ready for East Carolina. Look forward to the trip this weekend.
Let's do it. Birds up.
That's Austin Claunch with us out here at Chicken and Pickle. Taco Cabana, you can save time after the game by ordering Taco Cabana online at tacocabana.com or on the MyTC loyalty app. Sign up for great rewards and exclusive offers only at Taco Cabana. We'll visit with Karen Aston coming up next. It is the UTSA basketball. Basketball show. Karen Aston's ready to join us, and we'll talk about the women who continue to roll. And Karen, welcome to the show. You got a big win over Memphis last Saturday to get to 13-1 in league play. Congrats on that. Take us through the win.
Thank you. I thought it was a good win. That, you know, everybody has a different matchup against certain teams, and obviously Memphis gives us a little bit of trouble. We had trouble at Memphis. Didn't have Maya at Memphis, and she makes a big difference for us defensively. But You know, we came out a little bit flat, which we've done the last 2 or 3 games, and then we've kicked it in gear. Jordan got in foul trouble, which I think that was the most significant thing for us, is that realistically we played the game pretty much without her. So I thought that other people stepped up, and that's what's going to have to happen as we go down the stretch. It's what's going to have to happen in tournament play. I mean, you can't expect 1 or 2 people to carry you for 3 games in a row and down the stretch as we go and finish conference season. So I was pleased to see that we were able to have some people step up.
The fact that she was in foul trouble and didn't play and everybody else didn't panic and they still were confident, that's a great positive sign going forward, because that could happen again.
Oh, yeah, it will happen again. I feel sure. But, it's fun to see some of the young players starting to get comfortable with their roles. And I think Taylor Ross right now is starting to give us a lot of energy. And, I've said this all along, our freshmen are really talented. And it was just a matter of time before we were able to get them in and get them comfortable. And I think Demara and Taylor, and Mia's got a little bit of an injury right now, but both of them are getting comfortable with their roles.
I was watching some of your practice yesterday before the men had the shoot around, and I was keeping an eye on Jordan and just kind of watching how she participates in practice, because for those that don't know, you run with one set of players and then you'll sub in and out. And I could just kind of look at her and see the engagement in her when she was not in. She was talking to players. She was pointing things out. I don't know how much I'm not around you as much as I would like to be, but I just point out, when the best player on your team and the best player in the league is that engaged in a practice, that speaks pretty high volumes of her character, and it resonates to the rest of the team.
Absolutely, and I think that's where she's grown so much, is just maturing in a sense of knowing that everybody's looking at her and everybody's listening to her. And there was a point in time when she didn't really know how to manage her teammates because maybe they weren't at the same competitive level that she was at. And, she didn't quite know how to handle that and how to lead them and bring them with her. And I think she has such a better understanding of that. Most of it is her own self. She's very comfortable with herself and where she is, but she also understands they're not, a freshman's not where she is. And she's got to meet them in the middle, and she's been a really, 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 really good role model for them this year.
How much does that help those talented freshmen that you have?
A ton.
They're talented. Now they're going to be there in 3 or 4 years in her role.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And what's cool about this particular group of players is that the freshman class, 2 out of the 4, Mia and Taylor, came to a lot of our games last year. So they knew the players, and they watched them in a different light, and Jordan in particular looked up to her. You could tell she was extremely talented, and now they're on her team. And I think that that's been significant for them to play with her now and understand why she's where she is and what it takes to be at her level. And so I think that's been beneficial for them.
And as you've recruited better players, and the players have gotten better with age as they've grown, now she has confidence that when she throws them the ball, something good's going to happen.
Yeah, for sure. I think she's been excited to see, obviously she's on the other end, from the guards with Taylor a lot and Amelia. And I think she gets really, really excited when one of them does something well, and she's happy for her teammates. She's engaged the freshmen. I've said this all along. Jordan's our team cook. She bakes and cooks for them all the time, has them all over to her house. And that's just a sign of leadership, that she wants them around her and is not afraid to have the young ones around and make them comfortable.
In that Memphis game, you were down 2 at the half and won by 19. So what changed in the second half?
We decided to play defense. I was not, I mean, we don't give up 40 points in a half that often. We just didn't. We were very uncharacteristic defensively. We just weren't in the right places. We didn't have it in the first half, and we talked about it at halftime. I mean, that's just something that we have to hang our hat on, and we understand that, and sometimes I think we forget it. But we had a little jogging of memory. And the one thing I love about this team is that it's not me that has to say it. I mean, I think they know it. They know what their strengths are, and they do a pretty good job of checking each other before I have to.
All right, the players off this evening, and coming up in the next segment, we're going to introduce you to the softball coach at UTSA. She's been on before, so it's a reintroduction. Van Zuneman will join us here in just a second. They actually played softball in this weather today.
Yeah, I need to rub off of her today. She got a P4 win.
She wins the award.
What do you
for
say about that?
Toughness right there. We'll talk about that next. UT Health San Antonio is the official healthcare partner of UTSA Athletics. See how UT Health San Antonio's brightest minds are making lives better at WeMakeLivesBetter.org. It's the UTSA Basketball Coaches Show on the UTSA Sports Network. Our insurance members get 2 free tickets to Roadrunners football, basketball, and baseball games when you redeem online. Visit goutsa.com/TFB tickets to learn more and request tickets. We're joined on the program tonight by Van Studeman, the UTSA softball coach. And move the mic just a little closer there.
Okay.
That'll work a little bit better.
All right, you got me?
There we go. You guys played softball today in 30-degree weather. How was that?
cold.
Yeah.
Real cold. Thank goodness we were able to scramble up.
Move it up a little bit more there. There
Okay.
we go.
There we
Now we're
go.
getting
There we
better.
go. Thank goodness we were able to scramble up some heaters.
That didn't do any good for the left fielder.
Not the left fielder or the pitcher. Think about her poor hand and the girl swinging that metal bat, you know,
Yeah,
and hit.
stinging it every time
Oh
it
yeah,
hits.
oh yeah. I told him yesterday in practice, I'm gonna give you one swing. You can wimp around about it and say ouch, and that's it. I don't want to hear it again.
All right, and you beat a Big Ten team for the first time in 14 years. Congrats on that.
Hey, yeah, that's a big deal. Yeah, birds up.
Yeah, you're off to a great start this year. Take us through and tell us about your softball team.
Just a real gritty group. I think they've been watching women's basketball and learning from those girls, and just have a real big desire to win. And I think most of our wins come from behind. And it just seems like when we take a punch, we're willing to get up and punch back. And I think that's probably one of the biggest differences. We have 6 arms in the circle. Nobody's really getting overused and overpitched. We have some speed and we have some small ball, some short game players this year that are adding a little bit of a speed element to the game, putting a little bit of pressure on the defense. So it is a different look, and the kids are just a little bit gritty, and that's really fun to coach.
It's interesting the dichotomy of all the coaches at UTSA, you and Karen and Jeff and Austin and everybody. How much do you play off of each other? And I know you support each other all the time, but when you see something positive that happens with them, how does that reflect with what you coach your girls?
Well, listen, I think it's a lot. It means a lot. Like for the example, the other day, I texted Karen about a win or something they did, or maybe no. This is what it was. She texted me about the opening weekend, and I have good coach talk, and I had a couple of things I needed to say that probably weren't as positive as I should have been. And she comes back with, the kids are having fun. It doesn't always have to be pretty. And, you want to make sure that you're keeping them engaged, having a good time, and, don't focus so much on it being pretty. And I was like, I needed to hear that. So, I just think reaching out and being able to draw on the experience of all of these coaches has really benefited me. And I feel honored to be a part of it. There's some really great coaches here in this athletic department.
Karen, I know you follow the softball team, and you're friends with Van, and certainly her successes not only here so far, but in the past speak for themselves as well.
Absolutely. I think we can all draw from each other. And I was just telling Van, opening weekend we were in Wichita, and we're at our team dinner the night before the game, and all the girls have got their phones out, and I'm like, what are y'all doing? I'm thinking they're watching a basketball game. Nope, they're watching an opening weekend, and they were I don't know, Idara Udo thinks she's on the team, I think. And she might could hit it out. I don't know. I'm not sure, but they have really grown. I think that Ben just said something about that, about how noticeable it was this year that the athletes are showing up at each other's games,
right.
And it's probably been more noticeable this year than it has. I think it's a reflection of the coaches, and I also think that we have some athletes that are really starting to take pride in being here, and they're feeding off of each other. They're talking about it in a positive manner, and I think that needed to happen here desperately. It needed for the athletes to learn how to feed off of each other, and it's definitely happened. I mean, I love sitting and watching Austin's practices. I mean, I love learning, and I think we can all learn from each other.
Van, take us through the team this year compared to last year. How did they grow up and get better so quickly?
Seriously, it's a mindset, and we brought in some kids that have been in winning situations and have won championships either on the junior college level or a state championship, and been in regionals, and some transfers that had played in regionals, and I think they just get out there and they expect to win, and I think that is kind of playing off on to the returners that did come back, and you need those kids that have been there and been in that situation and know what that feels like in that moment.
And the responsibility it takes to stay there.
Absolutely, that is a very good, valid point. It takes a lot of pressure to be good first, and then to remain at the top or remain performing, and those kids, the ones that we brought in, have been in that situation, and it's really kind of like Karen said, you know, it's just feeding off of each other. The returners are feeding off of that energy, and it took a minute. It took a minute in the fall. They weren't, you know, I told that group of girls, look, you're coming in here to change the culture of this program, not the other way around. You're not coming in to fit in. You're coming in to change. And it took them a minute to, you know, to really dig into that thought process, because they're trying to, you know, they want friends on the team. They're trying to figure out where that fits in. And they've just done it beautifully. Chrisleen Moreno, she plays first base. She transferred from McNeese. She is a San Antonio kid, and I was very lucky to be able to get her because of that. And she has the maturity. I think she's more mature than I will ever be, and has just been able to walk that fine line of, hey, we have a higher standard than that, and this is what we expect. But then they all the players, all the student athletes, they just respect her. They really have appreciated how she gives her message, and we are receiving, they are receiving it, and really from that whole group of transfers, but especially her. She's really shown them how to do it.
That's great. Thanks so much for being out here tonight. Continued success this weekend and on into conference play soon, and keep up the winning. It's fun.
Absolutely. Birds up.
All right. That's Van Studeman. She's the softball coach at UTSA. We're at Chicken and Pickle, where the UTSA basketball radio show is every week. Next week's show is on Wednesday night, so be able to mark your calendars for that. Chicken and Pickle, UTSA Boulevard in Vance Jackson, and the show is presented by UT Health San Antonio. One more segment with Karen, and we'll wrap it up next. It's the UTSA Basketball Coaches Show on the UTSA Sports Network.
You love
Haven for Home Shelter for the Homeless will receive a donation thanks to North Park Subaru. It's North Park Subaru's charity stripe benefiting Haven for Hope. Karen Aston is out here with us tonight, as each week, and we're wrapping up the show. The women play at Rice on Saturday at 4:30 is the air, or 3:30 is the airtime, 4 o'clock tip with Neil Raphael on 93.3, and the men are at East Carolina 12:30 Sunday afternoon from Greenville. You got to go to Rice on Saturday. Tell us about the Owls.
Really competitive, and we're going to roll up in there on senior day with 5 seniors, so it should be quite a challenge for our team. And we had a rough time with them here at home. They're experienced, obviously a tournament championship with some of those kids under their belt, and just know how to compete. And we're all sort of jockeying for position right now. Everybody's in, some people are in different boats than others, but everybody is playing for something at this point. And I know they're trying to up their seed a little bit and end the season on a good note. And again, I think anytime you go into somebody's home on senior day, it's a tough one.
You have 3 of your last 4 are on the road too, so the conference didn't do you a big favor with the stretch that you have.
No, they didn't, and I'm trying to give our players an edge in some capacity. I think Van talked about their grit, and I think we've played with a lot of grit all year long, and I just don't want us to lose that. I want us to understand we were picked 5th. Nobody thought we were going to win the league, and I don't think anybody still thinks we're going to win the league. So, we've got to roll up our sleeves and understand how we got to this point, and we're really going to have to toughen up here with these 3 games on the road.
You've talked about the grind of February. It's a real thing because this time of the year, the state tournaments are already getting started for girls basketball at the high school level. But I think this team kind of seems to be able to fight through it, especially like your second half against Memphis. If they do get off to a bad start, they recognize it and correct it on the fly.
They do. I mean, I expect us to be competitive, and I don't think we've been a perfect team by any means, but we've figured out ways to win, and we have a bit of resilience about us that I hope we continue to have down the stretch.
We've talked about the renaissance of women's basketball at the college level the last few years, and they've had some milestones the last couple of weeks with Juju Watkins and USC upsetting UCLA, and Paige Beckers last night breaks Diana Taurasi's scoring record. So the game continues to be in really good hands with some of those accolades.
Absolutely, and I can't be any more pleased by how many people have showed up in the Convocation Center down the stretch for us. I mean, we have a final home game March 1st that we're trying really, really hard. First of all, we need to send our 2 seniors off on a great note. We need to celebrate Nina and Jordan Jenkins, and last home game, we're trying to break an attendance record. So we're trying to get over 2,000, and I think somebody wrote me today and said that they had tried to go online and buy tickets, and there's not a whole lot left. And
That's
we're
a good
excited.
thing.
That's a good thing. And we've had 1,500 the last couple of games. It's an unbelievable accomplishment for this group and where women's basketball is headed in the city. But I think also I'm so thrilled that the community has gravitated to our team, and we hope that they continue to do so, and let's get that attendance record broken on March 1st.
Yeah, that'll be great. And you got Tulane next week before we have the Wednesday show, so another tough place to play besides Rice as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a tough stretch for us, but we'll be ready.
All right, thanks, Karen.
Thank you.
All right, that'll wrap things up for the show out here this evening. Again, on Saturday afternoon, 3:30 on 93.3 The Bull. Neil Raphael will have the call of the game at Rice. They're also at Tulane next Tuesday. The UTSA men play Sunday at East Carolina, and then off until the following Sunday on the 2nd of March when they take on Rice back here in the Convocation Center. Thanks to Michael Bartlett for producing tonight's show. We'll see you next Wednesday night out here. Have a great night. It's the UTSA Basketball Radio Show on the UTSA Sports Network.